Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into a really powerful framework for success, straight from Adam Kuh's book, Master Your Mind, Design Your Destiny. We're going to break down the core ideas that can pretty much help you achieve anything you set your mind to.
So let's just start with this huge question, right? Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to just crush every goal they have, while so many of us feel like we're just spinning our wheels? Well, the answer isn't what you think. It's not about luck or raw talent. It's actually something we can all learn to control.
Okay, let's use a simple analogy. Think of your brain like computer hardware. For the most part, we're all working with pretty similar equipment. The real game changer, the thing that makes all the difference, is the software. Those are your mental programs, your beliefs, your thought patterns, and that is where the magic happens.
And you know what the best part is? Just like with a computer, you can upgrade your mental software. You can actually install new programs by modeling what the book calls the patterns of excellence. Basically, figuring out how successful people think and then doing the same thing.
Now, if you're thinking, oh, this is probably just for people who start out with all the advantages, let me introduce you to the author Adam Kuh. This guy was absolutely not a born genius. In fact, he was labeled a problem student, was dead last in his class, and get this, was rejected by 6 different schools. So yeah, his starting point was anything but easy.
But then, at age 13, something clicked. He figured out he could change his mental software. And the results were, well, they were insane. In just 1 year, he went from the bottom to the top 10 of his school. A few years after that, he was number 1. By the time he was 26, he was a self-made millionaire. This isn't some fairy tale. It's just proof that when you reprogram your mind, incredible things can happen.
And this right here, this was the belief that changed everything for him. He realized that success isn't some secret magical gift. It's a strategy. It's a formula. If you can figure out the strategy successful people use, you can use it too and get the same kind of results.
So what is this software? What's the secret sauce? The book boils it all down to what it calls the ultimate success formula. Think of this as the actual program you can install in your own mind to start hitting your goals.
All right, the formula has 4 key steps. First, you've got to know exactly what you want. No vague daydreams. Second, you need a plan, a strategy to get there. Third, and this one's huge, you have to take consistent, massive action. And then there's the 4th step, the one that changes the whole game, learning how to turn what looks like failure into feedback.
Let's be honest for a second. The first 3 steps, they're pretty straightforward, right? We all know how to set a goal and make a to-do list, but it's step 4 where most people get knocked off course. How you react when you hit a roadblock, that's what separates the people who make it from those who don't.
And this leads us to a really deep mental shift. You see, winners don't really believe in failure. They just see data. They see information that tells them what not to do the next time.
So when things go wrong, there are really only 3 ways people respond. You've got the quitter, who just makes excuses and gives up. Then there's the repeater, who does the same thing over and over, just harder, and gets totally burned out. But then you have the winner. They see the setback as feedback, they change their strategy, and they go again. They just keep running that loop until they win.
I mean, this quote from Thomas Edison just says it all, doesn't it? He didn't see himself as failing 9,999 times. He just saw it as finding 9,999 ways that didn't work, which got him that much closer to the one that did. Every so-called failure was actually a step forward.
Okay, so even with this amazing formula, there's still one more piece to the puzzle. You could think of it as a master key that unlocks the whole thing and makes sure you see it through, especially when it gets really hard.
So here's the crucial distinction. Is your goal a wish or is it a must? A wish is something that would be nice to have. You'll work on it when it's convenient. But when a goal becomes an absolute, non-negotiable must, you operate on a totally different level of energy. You will do whatever it takes. Obstacles aren't stop signs, they're just things to get around.
If you want a story that perfectly captures what a must looks like, think about a young Sylvester Stallone. He was so broke, so desperate to make it as an actor, that he literally had to sell his dog for $50 just to buy food. Can you imagine that?
Right around this time, he wrote the script for Rocky. Producers fell in love with it and offered him $1 million for it. $1 million. For someone who was literally starving, this was a winning lottery ticket. The only problem, they didn't want him to star in it.
And Stallone said no. He turned down life-changing money. Why? Because for him, starring in that movie wasn't a wish,
It wasn't a nice to have. It was his destiny. It was an absolute must. That level of conviction, that's what separates the dreamers from the people who actually achieve those dreams.
So how do you get that kind of drive? How do you develop that must mindset? Well, it all starts with one core foundational belief. It's the belief that gives you the key to your own personal power and lets you take total control of your life. It's called absolute responsibility. This is the radical belief that you are the one creating everything that happens in your life. The good, the bad, all of it. See, the moment you blame the economy or your boss or your past, you're literally just giving your power away. But when you accept that you created your situation, you also get to accept that you have the power to change it.
So that brings us to the final and really the most important question. Just think about it for a second. Your career, your health, your relationships, what is that one thing in your life that you are ready to stop wishing for and finally make an absolute, non-negotiable must? Because the answer to that question, well, it can change everything.